Peace and power. Welcome to another episode of Strategies of Manhood. This is your host, Brother Psyche. And if this is your first time accidentally bumping into the channel, then stay with us. Play me in the background. Grab you something to drink, some cold, some hot, coffee, whatever you need, and sit back and enjoy. And I promise you that we're going to give you some right and exact information. But if you're a long time subscriber and come and listen to every single video like Erica De La Rosa, then you already know you're in for a blessing. Today, what we're going to build on is the concept of love. I've decided to build on that idea because if you ask 20 different people what is love, you'll get 20 different answers. And the thing is, all of them are not wrong. Most of the time, every single person will give you the correct answer based on their point of view. A person can only give you an understanding based on what level of understanding that they're at that point of time. And love is one of those phenomena that changes and evolves its meaning based on what mental level that a person is at. Imagine this. And this is the point in the importance of understanding perspectives. Imagine this. Imagine one friend being on the second floor of a 50-story building. The other friend being on the 50th floor of that 50-story building. And the friend on the second floor pulls out his cell phone, calls his friend on the 50th floor and say, "Hey, look out, Bill. Look out the right window on the right side of the building. Do you see that police officer ticket in that car?" And Bill, since he's on the 50th floor, he's not going to see that. He's going to see something completely different. He's going to say, "Joe, you're tripping. There's no police officer ticket in the car on the right side of the building. You must be on the left side. Because on this side of the building where I'm looking out the window, I see an airplane flying over the building next to us." And they'll both will be right because they're both are given their understanding based on their perspectives, based on what level they are in the building. And that's how you must look at a phenomenon like love or knowledge or wisdom. All of these things have those different ways of being viewed. But let's build on love and let's get an understanding. I posted the question on my Facebook on my Facebook page, what is love? And I told people, don't be bashful. I want you to go all in. And I got a lot of different answers from that. And I asked friends and females and males that I knew to give me their opinion and their idea. And ironically, they gave me the ladder that I'm going to climb to build on love. I'm going to take love from its lowest level all the way to its highest level. And I ask that you just be open-minded and think through what I'm saying to get a deeper understanding of what love is. The first level of love I'm going to build on and break down is this. And a young lady told me these exact words, that love is a deep feeling in the pit of your stomach that cannot be explained. Now, this is the lowest state of love, but here's the difference is it actually can be explained. It's just a lot of time when people have these feelings, they don't take time to try to comprehend what's going on. So this is what's happening. Nature did not have enough belief that you would do what you needed to do naturally. And what you need to do naturally is connect with another human being of the opposite sex, mate with them, produce children, and therefore guarantee the spread of the human genetic code throughout future generations after generation after generation. That's the purpose of life, to constantly multiply. So the way nature made sure that you did that is nature programmed a desire for you to do it inside of you that you're not even aware of. This is what takes place. Let's say you see a woman or a woman see a man that she's interested in. She sees him first. He's attractive to her because that's where it all starts at, this love at first sight concept. He's attractive to her. He has some of the qualities that she physically likes in a man. What takes place when that first happens is her brain starts to secrete a feel-good hormone called dopamine, which automatically makes her want to talk to this guy, want to get to know this guy. Then let's say the guy walks over to her, reaches out his hand and say, "How you doing? My name is Eric." She reaches out her hand and she touches Eric. When they touch, what takes place is her brain secretes oxytocin, a bonding chemical, bonding hormone from her brain that makes her feel attached to the guy. She feels these sparks and these firecrackers set off, and she like, "Oh my God, this might be the guy." And he's thinking the same thing. The same thing is happening inside his body, and then they go to talking with each other. They like each other's conversation, exchange phone numbers, go on a few dates, this, that, there, and the other, and boom, you have love that blossom. What actually took place is a whole lot of brain chemistry has taken place. I told you the dopamine took place, the oxytocin took place. There's another hormone called endorphins that are secreted from your brain. That's another feel good hormone. Matter of fact, this entire feeling and this entire process affects parts of the brain the same parts of the brain that mania, thirst, and hunger affect. So it's almost like you done went crazy. They also affect in the same exact way the same parts of the brain that affect the same chemicals that drugs like ecstasy and heroin affect. This is why when you quote unquote fall in love, and that's another conversation that we'll have to get into later, when you quote unquote get into love with someone, whenever you're away from them or y'all have a slight breakup, that you start missing them, you start kind of fiending for them. You start going through withdrawal, literally, because whenever you're around to be loved, your brain rewards you with endorphins and with dopamine. And when you're away from them, you're not getting it. So it's like you're going through withdrawal symptoms from not being around that person. And then your body starts making more blood go to the center of your body, hence the feelings in the pit of your stomach. That is what's taking place with the love. And nature did this to you to make sure that you was attracted, gained an attachment, and wanted to build a relationship with another human being. So that's love at its base and most simple level. Now here's the thing about falling in love and then rising in love. You rarely hear somebody say that they rose in love. And that's what should be happening. See, love should make you want to elevate. Not only yourself, but the person that you're in love with. It should make you want to elevate you and her or you and his situation and circumstance. But most people fall in love. And that's a fallacy. That's a problem. Because when you're falling, what's the first thing that you try to do when you're falling? You start reaching out to grab things and hold on to things. And that's where the attachment comes from. A lot of time when you find people that are in love that don't understand the process of love, they start being attached. They start being controlling and they start wanting to dominate. This lower level of love is basically the animal lust that the human being is exhibiting and expressing in himself. This is why, as I just said, that a person wants to control, they want to stay attached, they want to stay up under the person. And this love is defined not by an unselfish desire to see you do better, but this love is based on, I love the fact that you do this for me, that you make me feel this way, that you bring these benefits into my life. This love, quote unquote love, is completely selfish. And it's not really love. It's actually another type of emotion. It's called passion. And quote unquote love and quote unquote hate are different degrees of this same emotion. Just like cold and hot. Cold and hot are the same exact thing. Temperature. They're just different degrees of temperature. Oh yes, 32 degrees and 92 degrees feel completely different, but they are the same thing and no one will argue this idea. Same thing with quote unquote emotional love and emotional hate. They are the same exact thing, just two different degrees of that same exact thing. That's why they say it's a thin line between love and hate. The line is so thin that it does not exist. But this is the lowest level, the lowest state. Next, you have those who say love is unconditional. I know you've heard that a lot. That's a nice saying. Matter of fact, it was a nice song by the R&B group Mid Condition, but it's a fallacy. People say it and they never take our time to think about what they're saying or what that means. Think about what it means to be unconditional. The word condition means a state of being. To be unconditional would mean there is no time, there is no space. There is absolutely nothing to define this thing by. And if you have an unconditional love, then you have an undefined love that has no time, no space. And that means that it doesn't even exist. Because to exist is a condition. It's a condition. It's a state of being. Do that make sense? Do you understand that? I love words. So you have to build on that and break the words down. And then even from a temporal point of view, you have to look at this. That even then, when you have a deep stated deep love for a person, there are conditions of it. That love came from, let's say you meet a man and you fall in love with this man, or you fall in love with this woman, and she represents everything that you want and desire in a woman. That woman, then you start to admire that woman. And that's where that love bond starts to grow and build between you and her. Now, what if you find out that this woman has been sleeping with your children? What if she's been molesting your children? What if this woman is a undercover serial killer? Do you still love the woman in the same way? Does she still have the same sight? Or for the ladies out there, what if you find out that this man is a closet homosexual, or he's raping and molesting your children? Is this love unconditional? Or is the love that you have for him under the condition that he is the man that he has portrayed himself to be to you? But if you start finding out that he's now sleeping with your mother, sleeping with your sister, trying to have sex with all your friends, stealing all your money, running your credit up, if you find these things out about him, then it starts diminishing the love, because he has went against the conditions that y'all have stated for y'all bond in your relationship. You understand? And it's not a bad thing to state these conditions, because love, relationships, and marriage are supposed to be a conditioned state. They're supposed to be a conditioned state, because the purpose, and I broke this down and explained this in another video, the purpose of even coming together with another human being is like two businesses deciding to do a merger. When you make a merger with another business, you make a merger with that business because you see qualities in that business that you don't have in yours. And by merging together, that makes you and that other business more competitive in the business arena. You're trying to dominate your field, and adding this other person to your business strategy is supposed to make you more dominant in that field. And that's the same thing with relationships. We come together with other human beings and build these relationships because we're never hoping that our family that we build with this other human being becomes the weakest family on the block. We never want that. But we want her to have qualities that we don't. And we want to add qualities to her life that she doesn't have. The whole ideal of marriage is this. If the goal of life is to raise to your highest spiritual level possible, then when you marry another human being, then what you're doing is you're making a decision to unite with another person and their goals to raise themselves to the highest spiritual level possible. You're making a decision that you're going to help another person elevate themselves to become the best version of themselves. That's what love is supposed to be about. So to do that, there has to be conditions stated in the beginning. Whenever I get into a serious relationship with a person, one of the first things I ask them to do with me is to sit down and write relationship goals. If a person is unwilling to sit down and discuss on relationship goals, I know that we can't go any further. Then some would say that love is the highest elevation of understanding. Now we're going to the higher levels of love. We're going higher now. We're moving off those lower stages of love, and we're moving toward what love really is. Love is the highest level of understanding. Let's look at that. If we say love is the highest level of understanding, we write that down as a mathematical equation, and understand that math is the language that the universe was wrote in. It's a universal language, beautiful language. If we write it down as a mathematical equation, what we would do is write love on one side, equal on one in the middle, and understanding. This makes it an equation. And in mathematics, equal says that what's on the left side of the equation is the exact same thing on the right side of the equation. 2 plus 2 equals 4. We're saying that what's on the right side and what's on the left side are the same thing. They may look different, but they have the same value. So when you say love is the highest elevation of understanding, then you can change out love for the highest elevation of understanding. When you say you love someone, or when you say you're in love, or when you say you're rising in love, you're saying that I am currently in the state of the highest elevation of understanding. So what is that? Now we like to break understanding down like this. We'll say knowledge is the man. Wisdom is the woman. And when knowledge and wisdom mate with each other, they produce a child, which is understanding. So the child is understanding. So what do we do for a child? We nurture a child. So what must be done with understanding or with love? Love must be nurtured. What would you do for your child? You'll feed it. You'll take care of it. You will teach it. You will educate it. You will build a child up, and you will put the child through things that will make it stronger. This is the same thing you're supposed to do with your love. You're supposed to educate your love. You're supposed to build the love up, and you're supposed to put the love through things, not through torture, not through nonsense. but you put the love through things that have the ability to make the love stronger. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're supposed to do with love. If you love yourself, what do you do if you got true self-love? If you love yourself, then you start eating right. You start drinking right. You start getting enough rest. You start working out and exercising. You start doing the things that represent self-love, that make you a better person. You start studying and gaining knowledge and increasing your understanding because you want to put yourself on a level that makes you more productive to not only yourself, your family, and society as a whole. That's what real self-love does. You can always tell when you see a person that doesn't love themselves because they're definitely not involved in these type of things. So this is where we understand love as the highest elevation of understanding. And then if we're going to talk about that, and I told you about the different views in a building. See, we have 3 different levels that we can go to when we're dealing with understanding. See, we have understanding, understanding, and overstanding. Let's say it like this. Let's explain it like this. Let's say Kobe Bryant, great basketball player, magnificent, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived, ever touched the basketball, ever played the game. Kobe Bryant, me, sitting on the sideline, I understand basketball. I understand it completely. I understand the whole process, the ball going in the hoop and all that, but I can't do what Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or what none of those guys can do with a basketball, because I may understand the game, which means I can stand under it, but I don't have understanding. And that's what these guys have. These guys have gained understanding to the point that the actual game has become a part of who they are. So they have evolved in what they in understanding about basketball. And then you move to overstanding, which is what the greatest players of the game have. And overstanding is moving to the point that where the game is so ingrained into your consciousness that you don't even have to think about doing a layup, doing a dribbling a ball, slam dunking a ball, or shooting a 3-point. It's not even it don't even have to come into a conscious thought process. It become habit, the way Bruce Lee was with martial arts, or probably the way Floyd Mayweather is with boxing, or with hitting a speed bag. When I go and work on the speed bag, I have to consciously think about the moves and the processes. Floyd Mayweather can hit a speed bag and make it look like an art. That's the overstanding. So that's the difference between understanding, understanding, and overstanding. So love is the highest elevation of understanding. Then, again, I told you we're constantly moving up the scales. Another sister gave me the one of the most famous passages when dealing with love in this society, and that's 1 Corinthians 13 from the Bible, what many have called the love chapter. And it's a very powerful chapter because it breaks down what love is and what love isn't. And to truly understand that chapter, you must truly understand the history of the words being used. Because originally, you got to understand that when this chapter was written, Israel had been conquered by Greece. Greece was the most powerful empire on the planet at the time, and Greece had conquered Israel. So Greek was the language being spoken at that time in that region of the world because of the power that Greece had held over that part of the world. So that language was originally wrote in Greece when the New Testament was written. The first time that it was translated into English, it was translated as the King James Version. And that King James Version, the English word that was used for that translation was charity from the Greek. And then later translations started actually using the term love, which all of them mean the same thing. But the reason I brought this history up, because you got to understand that in the Greek language, there were different words for love. There wasn't just one word for love like we have in English. And this is probably why there are so many misunderstandings or disagreements about what love means. In the Greek, there was like 7 words for love, but only 4 of them are used in the Bible. And they are eros, philia, storge, and agape. In that 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the word agape is being used. Now let me break down the first 3 so I can get to the point. Eros is the root of the word erotic. Hence the word meaning lust or sexual love. So when you have people that say, I had one person on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page say that Love is just a fancy word for lust. See, her definition wasn't wrong, and I'm pretty sure those who are in love with being in love disagreed with her, but she's not wrong. From the Greek eros, she's 100% correct. Because that's what that represented, that's what that meant, and that's usually what people mean when they say they had love at first sight. Then when you move to the philia, that's the friendship love. That's the friend love. When you have compatriots, people that you're in the same group, same organization, went to school with, or you work with them for so long, you develop a familiarity with them, and y'all have the same similar interests, and that the friendship starts to develop, and you have a closeness with them. If you see them getting hurt, it angers you. You see somebody jump your friend, you jump in it because you have developed that philia, that type of love, that friendship type of love. And then the next love is what they call storge, which is that familial love. Basically, it's the love that a parent has for a child, or a brother has for his brother, or a sister has for a sister. That it's that family type of love. And then last you have agape. Agape is the original term that was used in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Agape is the highest form of love. That type of love is selfless. It's the type of love that you have. If you understand anything about the Indian chakra system, it's the type of love that you develop once your mind have raised to the level of the heart chakra. I'm not going to get into that now because that'll be its own video on its own to build on it and break down what that all means. But it's a love that you develop for humanity, for everything around you. You start to understand that everything around you is nothing more than an expression of the self. And once you understand that, you have the same love for everything around you that you have for yourself. It's the concept that you want for yourself what you want for others. It's that same concept, that golden rule. It's the type of love that people like Jesus, people like Muhammad, people like Buddha, these type of people have for other human beings, that they wanted to see them grow. That no man truly believes until he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. This is the type of love that builds and creates movements. This is why people like Malcolm X did the things that they did. There was no major benefit in Malcolm X running around the country speaking and trying to elevate the consciousness of people. He just had a deep burning sensation to do it because he felt other people's pain as his own. Martin Luther King's personal financial situation had been taken care of, but he was still running around the country speaking for the rights of other people because he felt that deepness inside of his own self. You know, just like the Panthers, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, or any other people that made service to the masses of the people, their life calling. They had that deep agape love. That's the type of charity that's being talked about. That's why it's more powerful than prophecies. That's why it's more powerful than knowledge. That's why in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 it said that if a man has prophecies but he has not love, then it's like a clanging gong. Basically, it's just a whole bunch of noise. You know, because he don't have the love or the passion inside of him that makes him want to take that love to the people. But this moves into the love at its highest state when you're dealing with this type of love. This moves to the next level, and the last level that I'm going to discuss, that love is God. Now, if we're going to build on love is God, we got to do the same thing that we did with love is the highest level of understanding. We got to do the math equation. Again, that the equal signs mean that what's on the left is the same thing as what's on the right. So when we say love is God, then love and God have the same value. That's what we're saying. Love and God have the same mathematical value. So when I tell a person I love you, then if this is true, then what I'm saying is I got you. And you got to ask yourself, what does that mean? So we get that concept as love is God. We get that idea from the scripture. And scripture says, I think it's in 1 John chapter 4, verse 16. It says that basically God is love and love is God. So anybody that is in love is in God and God is in him. That's what the scripture says. So you got to ask yourself, what does that mean? So when you say you in love, that means you in God and God is in you. That means that you are walking and manifesting yourself in the same way that God manifests itself. That's what I meant when I described people like Malcolm and Martin and Jesus and Muhammad, that they had such a love for people that they believed in selfless service and they sacrificed their own selves in order to help people elevate to their highest level possible. That's what it's all about. So if you say that God is love and you're at the highest level of love, then it's past you just trying to get what you want for yourself, selfish self. It's past you trying to get with somebody to make you feel important. And that's where a lot of people I think mess up when it comes to love. They get with somebody and they want somebody to validate them, to make them feel important. When the true and highest level of love is about you getting with somebody or being around other people and asking yourself, how can I help them become the best version of themselves? Because now let's look at God. What are the attributes of God? What can God do? And I know you might be thinking to yourself, that's a whole lot to add, but it ain't really that hard. We can go to the beginning of Genesis, and this is not. I'm not a religious guy, and this is not a religious channel, but I'm using this because we live in a Judeo-Christian society, and most people get their cultural perspective from the Bible. So I'm gonna use the Bible to give you an understanding of what I'm building on. So what can God do? First of all, God is a creator. So God has the ability to create out of situation, out of void, out of nothing. So if we say that love is God, then love has the ability to create out of void, out of nothing. God has the ability to speak things into being. God has an undying and unselfish love and passion for everything in existence. God breathes life into situations. It says that man was not a living thing. God formed him from the dirt and then breathed his life into him. So God has the ability to breathe life into situations. Love is supposed to be able to breathe life. God is knowledge. God is the supreme knowledge, the supreme wisdom, the supreme understanding. There is no way that you can have God and not have knowledge. Tell me, how can you be a fool and then say that you're with God? I done seen people say that they're highly favored and blessed and they're with God and they dumb as a box of rocks. That's impossible, because God blesses and instills God's words and ways and wisdom upon a human being. But back to the point, if God is love, then when you say you love somebody, then what you should be doing is asking yourself, how would God respond to them? And I'm gonna use this example. Years ago, one time we used to go paintball shooting, real gun shooting, training, all that. And one of the brothers that was a mentor of mine, the brother War, he's in a video with me. The video that says "Should I Spoiler?" Go check it out. He's the brother with the bald head and the beard, and he's the one probably doing the most talking and the most building on that video. In the video, I'm sitting in the middle, he's sitting on the left. Anyway, back to the point. So this brother was he took us training, and we found a wild dog stuck in some barbed wire. Now me, I was very young, immature at the time, so I see the dog in the barbed wire. I'm finna shoot the dog. And then Brother Watt said, no, don't shoot the dog. He's just stuck. So Brother Watt, the dog was whimpering. Brother Watt kneeled down and he unwrapped the barbed wire from the dog's leg. As soon as the dog got free, the dog bit Brother Watt and ran off. And I told him, see, you should have just killed it. It bit you. Brother Watt did not get angry. He did not get upset. He understood. Remember we said love is the highest elevation of understanding. He understood. And we also say love is God. And this shows this God coming out of this brother right now. He understood. He turned and he told me, he said that the dog is just afraid. It just wants to survive. And you see, that's another thing God is able to do. You see, God is able to see what's seen, but God also has the ability to see what's unseen. See, Brother Warren, that time, instead of just looking at what he saw, the dog biting him, the dog being ungrateful for being freed and saved and getting angry about that, Brother Warren had the ability to see what was unseen, that the dog is afraid. The dog is operating from a lower level of fear, and it just simply wants to survive. So Brother Watt did not get angry. And that's the type of love we got to have when we're dealing with other people. Sometimes when people do us wrong and do harm to us, we got to ask ourselves, what is unseen? Where's this harm, this wrong that they're doing coming from? Because a lot of time, most of the time, unless you're dealing with a megalomaniac and a complete sociopath, people are not trying to do you wrong. They're operating from a low level of understanding. Peace. I hope y'all got something from this. I hope you can understand love. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. If you agree with me, put it in the comments. If you want to add to it and I didn't cover it deep enough, put it in the comments. I want y'all to understand that I don't do these videos and then create this channel because I think I know everything. I don't. I do these videos and create this channel because I'm trying to create dialogue. I like to learn. So as I put these out and these ideas out, I'm hoping other people that like to learn and like to teach will put those ideas, no concepts out as well. If you like the video, hit the like button, that thumbs up. Subscribe to the video. Get at least one person you know to subscribe to the channel for me. Post it on your Facebook, post it and share it, build with it, give it away. Help me build a channel. Peace.